John Dace here from Southwell Flood Forum. As mentioned, I'm part of the Emergency Planning and Resilience team. In fact, I lead the team. I was flooded in Southwell in 2013, and I'll talk a bit more about that. Building wider community resilience, working with Frank and Shani. Subtitle: Building Bridges Over Troubled Waters. As part of the livening up the afternoon session, the dead session after lunch, we were all asked to put song titles into our presentation, so I hope people following me have done that as well.
Mine's a boring one at the time.
This is a picture, obviously very similar to what's in the news at the moment, of South in 2013. That's near our school and leisure centre. We've got the Potwell Dyke bursting its banks, and we've got roughly a metre of water there. Other areas of town, again, similar sort of depth, if not deeper. Again, the Potwell Dyke, we've got two problems. We've got surface water on one side of town, and we've got the Potwell Dyke on the other side of town. It's not a new issue in Southwell. The problem we've had two occasions within 6 years of each other. But in 1922, look, we've got an archive photo, 65, 2007, 2013. So after the 2013 event, there was quite a lot of frustration in the town because nothing had happened since the previous one. A public meeting was gathered, got together in the local minster, a number of active sort of community people. The church was packed, and as a result of that, they asked for a number of volunteers and working in different sort of work strands for the Flood Forum. As you can see, watercourse clearance, fundraising, emergency planning and resilience, and a technical group. And you have to be astounded by the amount of talent, in the town itself, to sort of manage these groups. Part of my role is to coordinate the road closure scheme. We've worked with partners in Notts County Council, Notts Fire and Rescue Service, local town council, and via the sort of highways management side from the county council, to have a massive road closure scheme within the town. We've got up to 8 roads we can shut. We've got 80 wardens at the minute, and again, all volunteers. It is like herding kittens sometimes. We run an annual recruitment and training sort of session in the October. That's sort of tied in to help. We can get new volunteers from the local college, which is part of Nottingham Training University at Brackenhurst. We trained 11 new wardens last October, and like I said, we're working on behalf of Notts County Council. So it's quite an onerous task to get this thing up and running. On an annual basis, we look at the road closure policy, again quite a tight policy by Notts County Council as we work on their behalf. We have a chat from Notts Fire and Rescue Service about water safety. Again, personal safety for all of us is quite paramount, and there's some quite graphic slides in the presentation that puts people off going into water ever again. We've got a number of signs and cones scattered around the town. If you imagine, we've got 8 road closures sites themselves, and each one has 2 or 3 sets of signs. So we've gathered quite a number of signs and cones that we've had to find for homes for around the town. And another issue that we've got is trying to sort of get the word out there that if this happens, then the local authority is not going to come and save us. We have to be prepared. So we're doing a bit of work on preparedness and look at self-reliance and resilience, which again is where I'll come in partnership with Shani, who's going to follow on after me. Emphasising the fact that, like I say, if it's flooded, the town council suddenly won't appear with 3,000 sandbags to prop up your house, because they haven't got any, and they haven't got the people to do that. So we're making the plans beforehand so that we can look after ourselves. This is a map of the town. You can see the lines in blue are the roads we can shut. Again, these have been agreed for, risk assessed, etc. with ourselves and the council. Number of closure points. And these again are things that we are sort of tweaking as we sort of experience different flood events. We had a road closure last Sunday. This was an unusual one. It was the River Greet had flowed just there. Flowed over the road, broken its banks and flowed across the road, which is the first time that sort of happened on its own. We have had a couple of near misses recently and a couple of actual events on Nottingham Road, which is the main road from Nottingham into Southwell, down the bottom of the picture there, which again is a surface water issue at the minute, and we're trying to get that sorted out. So like I said, we've got 8 roads that we can shut. They have specific what we call triggers, so when a water reaches a certain height at a certain point, we're then authorised to close the road. The reason we do that as opposed to the council doing it is because they can't react quick enough. It's actually quite a sort of rapid series of events, and again, if there's county-wide flooding issues, their resources are stretched to the point that they can't come and help us. So we've decided to put this together to help ourselves. A key to it all, I think, with a lot of organisations, etc., is the communications. This is in sort of infancy. We're in partnership with Southwell Town Council, and their members have agreed to sort of create a protocol with ourselves and actually send staff into the communications hub. The idea behind this is it sort of coordinates information. We've got an issue with communicating amongst ourselves because we're all volunteers. We don't have a radio system that we can just hand out, and we've got no budgets, so we're using what we've got, which tends to be mobile phones. I received 182 WhatsApp messages in a 2-hour period in October when we had a flooding incident. So trying to drill through that lot to find out what is actually crucial. So like a timestamp right with closing the road sort of message, as opposed to my buckets just floated away down the river. It's also a key to incorporating what was 240 separate flooding incidents in 2013 into what we might sort of determine as one major incident. So again, from an emergency services point of view and command and control, we could use the hub to coordinate resources to where they're best needed. And also we've got a number of volunteers, the flood wardens, etc., can move about, they are mobile to help out, again, moving sandbags, etc., which has happened in the past. There's also the potential command and control centre for the emergency services should it become a major incident from their point of view. And obviously we need to sort of have some sort of audit trail, so we record our decisions, etc. And then the next stage obviously is moving into recovery. We've got a place for people to go and ask for advice, etc. And offer advice and information to pick up the pieces. So that's what we moved from, initially from sort of making do with sandbags and bits of wood to proper barriers, etc. Last but not least on my section is that again we're looking at resilience, so longer term things, trying to educate the members of the public, so we thought we'd start with the youngsters in the town. So again last week myself and Shani went into a local scout group and talked to 20 odd scouts plus probably half a dozen to a dozen adults who are all sort of now familiar with the scheme within Southwell and are starting to think about what to get in case of emergency. So we spoke about grab bags, etc., what we could take out if we've got sort of 10-minute warning, half an hour warning, or we've got a few weeks of plan our escape, etc.
Yes, I'm Shani, I work for the National Flood Forum, and as Dave already explained, came into partnership through the FAME project to help build wider community resilience. Normally the National Flood Forum go into places that after the blue lights have finished and gone out and help people recover and help build flood action groups. But in Southwell there already was a flood action group in situ, and they've been there 5 years and doing a great job. So my role was to just sort of bring in extra capacity to do wider resilience, really, not just work with people who have been flooded, but work with people that haven't been flooded. And in frames, it fits in the preparedness side of things. So I'm just going to briefly talk to you about 3 projects that I've done over the last 18 months. So without that, riparian management was really important in Southwell, because one of the major areas of flooding was through the Potwell Dyke. And everybody has a responsibility to reduce flood risk, not just for themselves, but for the community, really. So we wanted to get the riparian owners on board along the Potwell Dyke. The estate agents is something working with people moving into the town, those that weren't necessarily aware of the flood risk in Southwell and the problems and the issues due to flooding. And again, as Dave briefly mentioned about the scouts, we wanted to work with the younger generation to get them on board and make them more aware of flooding issues. So, over the course of a year or so, I worked with riparian owners, sort of get to know what their issues were, have a consultation in the library, and invited them to come and see me, just to sort of come and talk to me generally and tell me what their problems were, what their issues were, the concerns. And I filled a questionnaire in from that. And then on the back of that, I also went door-to-door surveying along Potwell Dyke, because pretty much the way to get to communities is to talk to them face-to-face and sort of support them, really. And through the work of the Potwell Dyke consultation and door-to-door surveying, got a good response from people. About 35 people out of 60 responded to my questionnaire, which was a really good response rate. So from that, sort of talking to them and finding out what they wanted, we did an information day, and we held an information day where the agencies came along, and we invited all the people we'd engaged with to come and meet the agencies and to get answers. So that was one, I'd say, quite a good project, really, because you need people like the residents along the Potwell Dyke to be doing their bit to reduce the flood risk. So that was one project. Working with estate agents, this was really about engaging with people that were moving into the town that didn't know the history of the problems of flooding in the town, and we wanted to get them to sort of know what was going on. So I visited all the estate agents in the town and got to know what their issues were and what their concerns were. And there were certain themes that came out of that. They didn't tell people that had riparian ownership. Well, they didn't know much about riparian owner rights and responsibilities. That was one issue. So anybody that bought a property with a stream at the bottom, they didn't really know how to sort of tell them about, if they had rights and responsibilities for that. They also were worried about, they had no information about insurance. So if somebody did flood, they couldn't tell anybody about where to get insurance information from. And also they didn't really want to put people off moving into the town. So consultation with the 5 estate agents in the town, we came up with a leaflet. So I designed a leaflet with all the information they'd given to me, so that they could then pass that on to people that had bought properties, just to raise the awareness of those issues. So on the leaflet we included a section about being prepared, who they could contact. We put a section about insurance, who they could contact there. And we also talked about the natural flood management and the project itself, Frames project itself, going on in the town to help reduce flood risk. And then also a section on riparian ownership, if anybody bought a property with a stream in it, or a ditch even, it doesn't have to be a stream, it could be a ditch that can have riparian ownership on. Just a helpful leaflet, really. So that was, and they were very grateful for that, actually. The estate agents really appreciated that. But like all things, this is in the hands of the estate agents now. So hopefully they'll pass it on. And then finally, worked with the schools. This was one of the hardest parts of the project, getting the schools involved. I do believe actually engaging with children is one of the best ways to get to adults, but they're very often really busy. And I did actually manage to get a trip to show them the natural flood management measures that are going on in town about part of the Southwell Flood project. And Holy Trinity were involved simply because their head teacher was from the town and her parents had been severely flooded in 2013. So she had that connection. But really trying to get the other schools on board, it's quite difficult if they haven't really got that empathy with you about flooding. So anyway, took the school up to see natural flood management. Here they are. These are all 4 to 7-year-olds, by the way, and they had a great time. Just explained what was going on, and they did really well and understood it. We did a quiz when we got back to see how much they'd learned from the experience. And yeah, it went really, really well, but it did take a year to get that organised, just then. So they're just 3 of the projects that I've been doing. I realised I've got 1 minute left, or no minutes left. So there we go, I'll quickly say, anybody got any questions?